Welcome to our hazmat building. This is where we have our meetings. It's all volunteer. We conduct our meetings in here, do training, different things like that. Over here, you're going to see some of the equipment that I use for testing. Of course, the area array gammas, which can communicate to each other and pick up any type of material and communicate back to the command post. And then our other portable sensors. And the purpose of this was to allow us to find out the characteristics of the different types of cooks, different types of chemicals used, and see what they do. Different chemicals have different reactions, and what is the level that is needed to detect and consistently detect without false alarms. What are the other things that are used in household or commercial type applications that require everyday use that isn't going to set our new sensor off? Many sensors were tested, many kinds, to try to develop just a baseline for what is the right kind of sensor to use in this application. And with these $10,000 units, we were able to find out the effectiveness and the levels necessary. This is a hazmat ID system, a very expensive system where you can put different chemicals on here and it'll tell you exactly what it is. It also communicates to Homeland Security and their databases and allows us to identify any type of chemical that exists. I believe these things are probably around $70,000 to $100,000. Didn't find it necessary to use it, but just to let you know the level of professionalism we have here and the type of equipment we use. You know, it was a blessing to be a part of the hazmat team for over, I guess, 25 years now. I've been a hazmat technician. But with this type of equipment, you learn a lot about it. You respond to different kinds of meth situations, whether it was cooking situations or just material you have to pick up and dispose of. It's been a real good learning experience. These are our three trucks. One is a command post. The other is a response truck. Sometimes we fill air bottles to the fire department. And the other one has our response equipment in it. Okay, this location where that shed is now is where I had the Connex, that metal building where I did all the testing. It was a good location, a little controlled, lock it up so nobody can get in there and mess with something that may contaminate them. When I first started testing, I know the man that owns a salvage yard, and this is the kind of Connex that I tested in. I opened it up and simulated the room, ventilation, things like this. The beauty about using something like this is you can clean it up afterwards real easy, it's not porous, so those fumes and everything don't stick to it, and also you can have a controlled atmosphere. The motel that I put MethAlert in, it's called the Ingleside Motel. I don't know if they still have their system active. They did have a fire at this motel years ago related to meth. Again, rooms quarantined. Hi, this is Mark, and I hope this short video is good to explain and show you the effectiveness of the sensor. I've had some installations, but I'm not real good at making videos, so I guess let's get started. As you'll see to the bottom left, there's a black box, and that's the beginning of MethAlert. One of the early sensors I used to detect meth, placed in a remote area of the building and used vacuum to draw the air to it from receptacles. The one to the right has a remote sensor, which I hid into some devices such as lamps or other air conditioning controls. Right here you'll see my little demonstration box, which I'll show you the effectiveness of the sensor by putting a chemical in there. The fumes are actually just kind of falling out of the container. There's no liquid, and it sets off the alarm. That alarm, that discrete output, will actually send a signal to a dialer or some kind of cellular device. Here I'll show you with the remote sensor that the dialer will get a signal. It'll either send a text message or a voice message to the customer notifying them there's an issue. So here we go. There have been several generations of sensor before I finally got to where I found a cost-effective sensor that didn't require so much setup. In the center you'll see a Wheatstone bridge sensor, which is not any good for doing this type of thing. It doesn't have consistency, and of course it detects at such a high level contaminants and explosion is imminent. So you don't want an LEL type sensor. It isn't good. See the output? It's actually dialing out right now to the customer. This little demo box was good in demonstrating this product to many kinds of people and different customers. I found, just like smoke detectors, people would put clear plastic bags over these type of sensors too. So I come up with this ultrasonic sensor that would actually warn or alert the customer that someone is trying to disable the device. That way it can be put in plain view, and the customer wouldn't have to worry about it.
Now, Tennessee has been a top
Here's some media I hope you'd be interested in. I'll go ahead and shut the narration off, and we'll be talking to you later.
But a new
Take care.
invention could change all that. WDEF News 12's Brittany Shaw has the exclusive story you'll see only on 12.
It's the most popular drug in America. 12.8 million Americans have admitted to trying crystal meth. The do-it-yourself drug is made with common household products, and its easy portability makes it hard to track down. But an inventor from the 2010 meth capital of the U.S. has developed a product to make meth busts a little easier.
Because people are out there, and the quantity, and they have no reservations of using any means necessary to produce their drug.
He collaborated with area law enforcement and one of the country's top inventors to develop the product over the last 2 years. MethAlert can give property owners the ability to monitor their building for this hazardous drug. The system has already been installed in one Athens hotel, which chose to remain anonymous. Special sensors can detect the chemicals and send a warning signal to a designated person.
You can't exclude anything anymore. Campsites, open air. But just because hotels tend to be what they are, they're a very common area or a very common place that meth labs are commonly seized by law enforcement.
The external doors on some hotels make an easy escape route for these criminals, but they also make it hard for hotel owners to know when a room may have been contaminated.
We've got really good preventive measures. What we are saying is there's a product now that will allow hotel owners to rent to local customers again, to notify them before contamination or explosion or fire take place.
A single drop of sweat can cause a meth explosion, costing lives and thousands in damages. MethAlert is the first patent-pending technology of this kind. For WDEF News 12, I'm Brittany Shaw.
WDEF News 12, this morning continues now.
Welcome back. An Athens inventor has created a device to keep meth makers out of hotels, apartments, and other buildings. And Mark Allen hopes MethAlert will help turn the tide against those cooking up the hazardous drug. Mark is joining us this morning. Tell us more. more about MethAlert and how it works. Good morning to you, Mark.
Good morning, Joe.
Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm curious when you got started on working on this invention. You know, take me through that. How long ago was it you said, hey, I've got an idea?
Well, Joe, it was several years ago. My wife and I were looking at foreclosed homes. And you know that, like they say, if you see a deal that's too good to be true, most likely it is. That's when we heard about and discovered that a lot of these homes could be contaminated with meth, and you could be making an investment that basically could fail.